everyone, my name is Sonia Merton. I'm a QA Analyst at Livefront, and today I'm going to be talking about debugging mobile apps with a tool that we built called Loupe. I'll be talking about what Loupe is, why we built it, and I'll give some examples of how it benefits our product teams. So what is Loupe? It's a custom debugging tool we created that integrates with iOS and Android devices. It helps every role on a product team have visibility into what's happening behind the scenes within their app, helping confirm behavior, diagnose issues, and even override inputs for testing. And the best part is you use it on device within the app, so it's really easy to access. Why did we build it? When we're developing and testing apps at Livefront, we know that there is so much more to an app than what you can see on the user interface. There are invisible details behind the scenes working together to bring the app to life. Things like networking, location data, and analytics, they're all critical to an app's performance. But historically, you couldn't see them without a desktop computer or a debugger or a proxy attached to your device. But with Loupe, you can see why the app behaves in a certain way without any additional tools. It runs in real time while you use the app, and it's accessible to everyone, not just engineers that are connected to Xcode or Android Studio or a proxy. Loupe is easy to use and available to anybody with a debuggable version of your app. And it houses all of your testing tools, your networking information, device information, analytics events, and more, all in one place. So that all sounds great, right? But how does it actually benefit our product teams? Well, it lets us see what's otherwise invisible. If you work in mobile or web development, you've probably at some point seen a bug report that says something like error when tapping on this button, and it doesn't really diagnose the issue. When testing a mobile app on a physical device, you can see when an issue occurs, but you can't always see why. Even the error messages we present to users are not always descriptive enough to help you debug. You can see that you had a server error, but you don't really know what went wrong. Since Loupe allows you in real time to see network requests happening as you're interacting with your app, you can easily diagnose issues with precision. You can see whether an issue stems from the server response or from the app itself. And if it is from the server response, you can see whether it's returning a 400 or a 404, or maybe it's returning a 200, but something in the response body is not abiding by the API spec. Or maybe there's a miscommunication between the server and app-side implementations. I'll share an example from a consumer-facing app that I work on where users are shown fun, whimsical confetti that might correspond to the current season. We ran into an issue where the confetti we were expecting to show the user wasn't being displayed. What I'm able to see on the surface is that they're not being shown the Halloween confetti when they should be. I can write that in a bug report, but that's not really the issue. It's a symptom of the issue. When I open Loupe, I'm able to see the network request that corresponds to the action that I performed. I can see in the response data, the server is returning the Halloween confetti value with a dash, but the app is expecting an underscore, not a dash. Let's say the app is wrong in this case. The real bug is that we need to change the app to expect Halloween dash confetti. And now I'm able to write a much better bug report, and the engineer knows exactly what they need to do to fix it. But Loupe isn't just useful internally for triaging and diagnosing issues. It benefits our stakeholders, who might not have a technical background, and allows them to see what's happening behind the scenes. Loupe gives us a common language to speak about issues they're encountering, and gives them an easy way to share with us the information we need to help them. Here, you can see how easy it is to open any network request and share it at the push of a button. And you can do the same thing with device information without having to walk someone through locating their device settings menu and getting all the pieces of information that you need. Everything's available right here, ready to be shared. Being able to diagnose issues with this level of precision streamlines your development process. It saves engineering time, and it also has the benefit of helping non-engineers understand how the API works and how it corresponds to the actions performed in the app. And all of this is made really easy to access, digest, and share. Another major benefit is the ability to configure different feature sets and switch environments without having to deploy special builds. If we're developing a new feature gradually, we want to be able to test those incremental changes from a functional standpoint and test how it integrates with the rest of our app. However, we also want to be able to easily disable those features if we're not ready to deploy them to the public. Without Loupe, you would need somebody to be able to modify those feature flags. We might have a product manager that has access to a console to remotely enable those, Or we might have engineers deploy special builds with and without feature flags enabled. Not only do you have to rely on a particular person for this, but it can easily get confusing which build has which features enabled. And what if you want to test how multiple feature flags interact with one another? Loupe simplifies this and makes feature flags accessible to anybody on your team. Within Loupe, you can have all of your feature flags listed with a toggle to enable or disable it. You can easily see what's turned on or off and test every possible combination, all in the same build. Similarly, environment switching is made really easy with Loupe. No need to deploy separate builds for this either. Every build has access to every one of your environments. The third major benefit, and a personal favorite of mine, is the ability to have custom testing tools at your fingertips. Sometimes it's really hard to trigger the server response that you need for testing a certain scenario. I shared the example of the seasonal confetti from one of our consumer-facing apps. What happens if I want to test the Halloween confetti in summer? Luckily, we added support to test every confetti type available, so we don't need to rely on the server response, and we can trigger it on demand as frequently as we want. That also means that if the server support isn't there yet, we're able to do some early testing as well. We've implemented tools like this for dozens of features across many of the apps that we work on. We've got tools to help us test various error states or shorten time intervals so we can test timeouts and token expirations. We can easily test our kill switch. We can change our device locale to test support for other time zones. We can slow down the server response and see how the app reacts. Whatever those hard to reach places are, we can create tools and have all of those contained within Loupe. And that leads me to my last point, which is ease of use. Everything you want is available in one place. No having to get access to an analytics console and then go somewhere else to see location data and connect to a proxy to see network requests. You open Loupe and you have every one of those integrations or tools at your disposal, which makes this accessible to everybody. No having to rely on that one team member with credentials to access the feature flags and turn them on globally. Each individual can customize their settings on their device without the help of anyone else. Giving more people access to all of the capabilities of your app means more eyes to catch more issues. And when you make that hard to reach stuff easy to access on demand for everybody, it's no longer relegated to an occasional testing effort. It becomes part of your regular quality practice. Thanks so much for tuning into my Livefront talk. I hope you enjoyed it.